Thank you, Alex. Alex is such a great resource. I was actually chatting with him about the Omega fish oil recently. So I learn a ton every time I get to hear from him. And we'll dive back in and talk a little bit more about where science meets soul and these stories and how they become the bridge that really brings it all together. So we're going to meet Alex. Alex is 27 and just landed her dream job. She's climbing the ladder, hitting the gym, meeting friends, and saying yes to every opportunity. But her reality is she's running on caffeine, grabbing takeout between meetings, and collapsing into bed way too late, only to scroll on her phone until 1 a.m. Her skin is breaking out, her sleep is a mess, and she's always tired no matter how much coffee she drinks. Alex wants to feel energized again, not just wired. And she starts a routine with her foundational wellness supplements to give her body the nutrients that it's missing, and our Mito 2 Max to support real cellular energy, our recharge electrolytes to help her stay hydrated after workouts, and PB Restore to really help with her gut and her immune system and keep that strong. Supermint is her oil of choice for instantly uplifting her mental clarity and giving her that natural energy boost. And within weeks, she's sleeping better, her focus is sharper, and she's no longer chained to her cup of coffee. And this stage of life really speaks to me deeply because in my 20s, I developed a rare cancerous tumor in my abdomen, and I had been ignoring the whispers my body was giving me, pushing through, saying yes to everything, living life without boundaries. I thought my worth came from how much I could do, not who I was. To those in your 20s and 30s, I would say your body is speaking to you for a reason. Care for yourself. Listen to the whispers now so they never have to turn into rebel yells for your attention later. And using these tools that doTERRA gives us for support is huge. Meet Sarah. Sarah's 38, juggling two kids, a demanding job, and a side hustle. She is the queen of the 3 p.m. slump. Brain fog sets in, motivation disappears, and her mood is all over the place. She snacks to try to get energy, but it just makes her feel sluggish. Sarah dreams of having the stamina to crush her work projects and have energy left over to play with her kids in the evening. She adds VMG Plus and E Omega Plus for balanced nutrition and hormone support, Mito 2 Max for steady, caffeine free energy, her recharge electrolytes for hydration and blood sugar stability, and PB Restore for gut and mood support. Adaptive is her favorite essential oil because it invigorates her mood, supports her energy, and it also helps manage those afternoon slumps. She is amazed that her afternoons now feel as good as her mornings, and she can actually enjoy her evenings instead of crashing on the couch. This isn't about pushing harder. It's about giving your body the tools to keep up with life that you've built so that you can actually enjoy it. And this is very important as we transition into a new season of back to school with increased stress. The holidays are coming, increased sugar consumption, and less movement. Maybe you aren't outside staying active now that summer is coming to an end. Maybe you're now in the gym and touching all the stuff that other people have touched. So here's my personal tip for you. If you really want your confidence, energy, and strength to come back, apply some Motivate oil and pick up some iron. Weightlifting doesn't just change your body, it changes your brain chemistry, your posture, the way you carry yourself. Pair that with the right nutrition and our foundational wellness products, and you are going to feel unstoppable. Meet Lisa. Lisa is 49. She's a mom of two teens and works full time while caring for her aging parents. She used to have boundless energy. She's crushing up her morning workouts, working all day, and then still having enough in the tank for dinner and friends. But lately, her body feels different. She wakes up tired even after a full night's sleep. Her evenings are a battle between wanting to relax and feeling restless. Some days her workout motivation is gone. And when she does exercise, it takes days to recover. Lisa's biggest dream to stay strong and vibrant so she can travel with her husband in a few years and not feel like she's too tired for adventure. She wants to feel like herself again, confident in her body, steady in her mood, and energized to live the life that she's been building. And that's where her daily routine comes in. VMG Plus and E Omega Plus to replenish the micronutrients her cells need to support energy, hormone balance, and brain health. Mito 2 Max to fuel her mitochondria so she's making steady, natural energy, no caffeine crashes. Recharge electrolytes to keep her hydrated and support muscle recovery so her workouts feel doable again. And PB Restore to nurture her gut health, which plays a huge role in hormones, mood, and sleep. Her favorite essential oil is Clary Calm to support hormonal balance, ease mood swings, and promote better rest. Now, Lisa's not just getting through the day, she's showing up for it. She has energy to hit the gym, focus at work, and still enjoy an evening walk with her husband. She feels like her again, only stronger. And meet Jim. Jim is 62 and recently retired, and his goal is to travel with his wife, stay active with his grandkids, and keep his mind sharp for the hobbies he loves. But lately, he's been feeling more tired, forgetting little things, and even noticing it takes longer to bounce back after a round of golf or a long walk. Jim wants to feel independent, capable, and vibrant for years to come. He uses VMG Plus and E Omega Plus for brain, joint, and heart health, Mito 2 Max for sustainable energy, Recharge electrolytes for better recovery and hydration, and PB Restore to strengthen his gut and immunity. Copaiba is his favorite essential oil. He loves how it supports his brain health and is very emotional grounding and helps with overall cellular function. Now, he's not just getting through the day, he's fully present in it, making memories with the people that he loves most. And I want to thank you for being here and leaning into these stories. It is so very powerful because we want to take the science and connect that with the soul. It has been an honor to spend this time with you. And I know you're hearing a lot of information throughout the day, but here's my encouragement to you: choose just one thing, implement it, share it. Take action on it because all the knowledge in the world is wonderful, but it's the action you take that creates transformation. I can't wait to see you at convention. Thank you.
Dr. Laura, thank you very much. Appreciate the wisdom that you've shared with us today, and I love the advice of going out and finding a way to share with one person. Take something and take action on it. So, we have some testimonial winners for energy: Addison Michelle, Ramanita Maldonada, and Schieffer Johnston. And we're excited to have them. And Jackson, you can play there. I'll also put the link for the energy testimonials here. If you'd like to share a testimonial on energy, which we would love to have you do, uh, please take a picture of the QR code. And Jackson, I'll turn it over to the sleep testimonial winners.
Hi, my name's Addie Sano, and I super love the Serenity Stick. I have a little 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I use it on them consistently for bedtimes. It helps them to rest quickly, and I like to just rub it on them while we're reading books, and then by the time it's bedtime, it's a smooth transition. And they of course take, well, baby, they of course take VMG every morning with me as well. So I know that that is also helping their systems to fill up those depletions and then help them to feel so much better. So that's something that I do often as well. I like to diffuse the, hey, please stop. I like to diffuse the serenity in my room at night, and it helps both me and my husband sleep after stressful days of work for him and just stressful days of being a mom. So I super love the sleep system, and I have noticed a huge difference in my sleep since taking the VMG, Omegas, and PB Restore. And yeah, it's been one of the best things ever.
Hello, my name is Ramanita, and I have a sleep testimonial to share with you guys. I love the Serenity aroma, um, but really my favorite thing about the Serenity system is the stick. Ever since I got the stick into my home, I noticed that when I don't use it, my sleep is not as restful as when I use it. I literally don't wake up at all to the next morning. What I do is I apply Serenity Stick on the bottom of my feet and then the body butter on top of it just to like secure it. I go to bed and I don't wake up to the next morning. It is amazing. Me, my mother-in-law and I, we have both had this experience, and we both believe so much in the Serenity Stick. Thank you, doTERRA.
Hi, my name's Shifra, and I have been using the Serenity Sleep Stick and oil since they came out. Game changer. I'm sleeping 7 hours, not waking up, and or I am sleeping 5 hours, getting up, using the restroom, coming back, and going to the back to bed. I usually have chatter going on in my brain, and this just stops the brain chatter. Best, best product I've ever used. Um, Honestly, it's something I cannot live without.
Please share with us your energy testimonials, and I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Bush. But before you start your part of the presentation, Lauren, can you mention just kind of what to do if you maybe feel a little bit overwhelmed with all the information today? There's a lot coming at you. We have a lot of educational opportunities. What advice would you give to anybody that maybe, like me, feel like they're drinking from the fire hydrant?
The goal of any type of event like this is that we help you fill up your cup, and we hope that you keep coming back to learn. I think I've seen a lot of people be really supportive in the comments and say, you don't have to learn it all at once. You don't need to know everything to go out and help people. And I think that the most important aspect of making the information stick is when you put it into practice. So the minute that you go out and you start helping your family, you start helping your community, you're going to learn more than you can learn at any event. But we sure hope that you guys keep coming to events. We hope that you join us for convention. If you didn't buy a ticket to convention, at least join us online, because it'll be the next biggest opportunity to have your cup filled, to keep learning about the products, have new experiences, hear more testimonials. So keep showing up, keep learning. It will continue to sink in. We'll keep offering opportunities just like this. And I'm actually going to hand it to Dr. Brannick Riggs, and he's going to hang out with you guys for the whole next section.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. I actually couldn't agree more. I consider myself a fairly intelligent gentleman, and yet I've been listening to Nicole Stevens and Alex DeBell and Laura Ritchie and Myra, and I'm still learning things from each of you. And so I don't know as there's an end in which you say, I now know it all. And so it's wonderful to be listening to each other and to hear the testimonials of using the product. It is a lifelong process there. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about foundational wellness and stress, and how important it is that we manage stress. Just a quick story. When I started this years ago in my practice, I had a lady who came to my practice. It was obvious that she had a huge amount of stress in her life, and it was causing some health concerns for her. We talked about she just needs to eliminate the stress in her life. And she said, well, Dr. Riggs, I have 7 children. I can't eliminate the stress of 7 children. Said, okay, I learned a great lesson that day. We can manage the stress in our lives. Managing the stress in our lives is very important for us. So let's talk about foundational wellness and stress, and how stress affects our body. We know that stress weakens our immune system. We know that it compromises our cardiovascular system by raising our blood pressure. When our cortisol goes up due to stress, then our blood pressure goes up, as does our heart rate. We get digestive issues from stress, particularly those that have some irritable bowels can be certainly affected by stress. It can cause weight change, can cause muscle tension and pain. It certainly affects our sleep, and then obviously affects our mental and emotional health. We know that the different hormones, the different neurotransmitters that float around the system are affected by stress. And so we really do need to manage it. As a matter of fact, I don't know of an organ system that isn't affected by stress. So when it comes to managing our stress, the first thing we would want to reach for is our VMG. This blend of nutrient-dense superfoods, berries, greens, etc., really do support mental health, cognitive function, healthy inflammatory response, and it balances our neurotransmitter production. And we're going to talk a lot in this case about neurotransmitters. So remember that conversation about neurotransmitters. So brain function and cognitive health. We know that our greens, our sprouted barley grass powder, our spirulina, our chlorella, our kale juice powder are all rich in B vitamins, magnesium, iron. They play an essential role in neurotransmitter function and oxygen delivery to brain cells. We also get better circulation, which then supports focus, memory, and learning capability. That circulation is improved by those superfruits that we have within our VMG. Going down, we want to make sure that we have a healthy inflammatory response and oxidative stress reduction in the brain. Oxidative stress affects our neurons, and then they don't work as well. So you can see the Brussels sprout extract, green cabbage powder, et cetera, the omega-3s, they're important for us to have a healthy mood. And then the antioxidants that we consume with our VMG helps with mental clarity, reduce cognitive decline, and promote emotional well-being by protecting those cells from stress. In addition to that, we need balanced neurotransmitters. We want to make sure that the neurotransmitters don't go too high or too low. And those come from spinach juice, artichoke flower powders that are rich in folate. Folate is essential for the production of serotonin and dopamine. Those two things regulate our mood. We want to promote relaxation and reduce stress. Our celery stem juice powder contains electrolytes, like Alex DeBell just talked about with our recharge system that supports nervous system relaxation. Dark sweet cherry juice concentrate contains melatonin. Melatonin, remember, helps us with those circadian rhythms or that sleep-wake cycle. We also want to make sure that we're supporting the gut-brain axis for mood stability. So the chlorella and spirulina powders are superfoods that improve gut health by influencing that production of serotonin. Serotonin, remember, is that neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and emotional well-being. It's that feel-good neurotransmitter that makes us feel happy. Also, the superfruits within there, the apple, raspberry, strawberry, goji berry concentrates, all help us with emotional resilience, focus, and productivity. Our E-omegas. E-omegas are certainly helpful. The brain is made up largely of fat. And the more omega-3s that we can have within the brain, the happier our brain is. So the omega complex helps us by neurotransmitter balance, supporting a healthy inflammatory response, which we've already talked about, improving that gut-brain communication, and enhancing our stress resilience. The EPA and DHA in combination with that wild orange essential oil provides mood stability, cognitive function, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. These really are the things that help us with our mental wellness and long-term brain health. When we go to some of the specific science, we know that certain neurotransmitters are critical for regulating mood. We know that we have to have the DHA for the production of dopamine and serotonin. We know that we have to have EPA to help us regulate our inflammatory response. Those two components of this are extremely helpful for our mental well-being. The DHA and the EPA also support that healthy inflammatory response in the brain, important for long-term emotional and cognitive health. The wild orange in there, which is 95% limonene, helps us with calming and stress relieving properties. It helps us reduce anxious feelings, promotes relaxation, also regulates cortisol. Remember, that's the number one thing produced by the adrenal glands during times of stress, is that cortisol is released, and that cortisol, if left around the body too long or too high, wreaks havoc on the system. So better cognitive function is also found within our DHA and EPA. And DHA also plays a role in melatonin production. Remember, we get extra benefit from our VMG for melatonin production, but when we're taking our E-omegas and we get the DHA, melatonin production is also enhanced with that. And then our omega-3 fatty acids help protect our cells from the oxidative damage and age-related decline in our neurons within the brain. So let's talk a minute about the gut and the brain. There is this interesting correlation between the two. And what I find fascinating is that we often say, I just had a feeling in my gut that something was wrong. It's interesting how the gut really speaks to our brain and helps us understand that. So the gut is responsible for 50% of the body's dopamine production. Dopamine is crucial for feelings of pleasure, motivation, learning, movement. And so low dopamine levels lead to mood swings, difficulty concentrating, a decreased ability to experience pleasure. 90% of the body's serotonin is made in the gut. This mood or this neurotransmitter is helpful for us with elevated mood. So when we have low serotonin levels, we get feelings of anxiousness, we get low mood. Digestion can even be affected. Weight management can be affected. Sleep patterns can be affected because serotonin is a precursor for melatonin. If you don't have enough serotonin, you cannot make enough melatonin for you to get to sleep. GABA is also produced by a specific bacteria in the GI tract, and GABA is that neurotransmitter that helps us calm down and feel at ease. And so if we don't have enough GABA, we are continually in a heightened response. And then, as I mentioned before, the gut microbiome influences melatonin production as well through that serotonin pathway. And the gut and the brain are in constant communication. This axis we're just beginning to understand and scratch the surface to, this relationship between the brain and the gut. It has a number of functions. There's also the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or the HPA axis. This regulates the body's response to stress, particularly that hormone that I mentioned earlier called cortisol. We know that dysbiosis, or an imbalance of the gut microbiome, disrupts that gut-brain axis. And so those imbalances impact the HPA axis as well. And so we want to make sure that the gut is healthy so that we're having all of the appropriate responses to stress and that we're able to handle that without problems. Now, the activation of the inflammatory system in the gut, so if our GI tract is inflamed, negatively impacts brain function and promotes that emotional imbalance. And so we have to make sure that we're controlling the inflammation in our GI tract. A healthy inflammatory response promotes better brain function and neurotransmitter production. So we get a better sense of well-being when our GI tract is happy. So the probiome complex of PB Restore promotes mental health by supporting that gut-brain axis, enhancing neurotransmitter production, and supporting a healthy inflammatory response by regulating the stress response. When we have that improved gut health, the product helps us reduce anxious feelings, stabilize mood, enhance sleep, and improves our cognitive function. Isn't it no wonder that those that have mood issues often have gut issues as well? It's not surprising that those two are closely related. So when we look at the PB Restore, let's see if our slide's going forward. There we go. The goal of our PB Restore, the goal of the foods we consume is to have a balanced gut microbiome. Because if we have a balanced microbiome, it regulates that neurotransmitter production, improves our sleep, reduces feelings of anxiousness, supports mood stability, and enhances our emotional well-being, which is kind of what we're all after, right? It improves cognitive performance, enhances the gut, brain, and HPA axis functions, helps us better manage stress, reduces mental fatigue, mood swings, and stress-related symptoms, and encourages a healthy inflammatory response. In addition to that, remember each component of the PB Restore, the probiotics, postbiotics, prebiotics, etc., have a role to play in helping us establish and maintaining that mood and emotional stability. So let's dive a little bit into the science of what we would call a targeted solution. When it comes to dealing with stress, adaptive becomes our friend. Now, adaptive has essential oils in it like lavender, neroli, spearmint, sweet gum, copaiba, wild orange, and you can see the various areas within the that circle that those particular oils come from. We also have magnolia in it, rosemary in it. These are the secondary oils in it. Magnolia is actually quite calming, also a source of linalool. This blend was pulled from all of those different categories, and the perfect complement to this blend is our adaptive capsules. So with these, you can roll them on. You can see the roll on there. You can diffuse the adaptive. And I have found this blend to be very, very helpful, particularly during times of stress, like before a large presentation, to help the system just regulate those emotions. You can use adaptive, particularly this time of year, as children are getting used to new teachers, new classrooms, perhaps new friends. Adaptive can be their friend to take to school and help them deal with those emotions that they are in those new situations that they're dealing with. And then, of course, we have our adaptive capsules. And we'll talk about the things within the adaptive capsules in just one moment. But first, I want to go back to this concept of neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters really are cofactors. Cofactors are the things that cells need to function optimally. So it helps increase the rate of a chemical reaction, and they're kind of helper molecules when it comes to the brain. So neurotransmitters are chemicals that facilitate communication between your nerve cells. An example of this is serotonin. Serotonin is a chemical that has a large number of functions within the human body, but it's kind of the policeman of the brain. It controls the activity of what goes on. It influences our mood. It influences how impulsive we are. It influences our anger and our aggressiveness. That's all serotonin. But remember, the main thing that it does, it contributes to our sense of well-being and happiness. It is what we would call our happy neurotransmitters. If we have low serotonin, we do get feelings of sadness, and that's a rough thing. Remember also, serotonin is a precursor to melatonin, and so if you don't have enough serotonin, you aren't making enough melatonin, and without enough melatonin, you're not sleeping, which then also contributes to that challenge. Another cofactor that we might talk about is GABA. This is gamma aminobutyric acid. And GABA is kind of an inhibitory neurotransmitter because it blocks or inhibits certain brain signals and decreases activity of your nervous system. When your nervous system is excited, GABA helps us calm down, relax, and feel more at ease. When we're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, GABA is that one that goes in and subdues the neurological system when it's a little bit overwhelmed. And then let's talk about essential fatty acids. They're called essential fatty acids because our body simply cannot make them. We cannot make omega-3 fatty acids, okay? So omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids are essential for optimal health of the brain. They must be obtained from dietary sources, as I talked about there, and they support brain function and structure. As a matter of fact, the human brain is 60% fat. So we've learned in recent years that the fatty acids are among the most crucial molecules that determines your brain integrity and the ability to perform. And without those molecules, the brain cannot fully develop and cannot fully function without a good source of omega-3s. So now, let's see if we can get that to change. Yes, let's talk about the science of the adaptive capsule. Science of the adaptive capsule, we have Scaledium root. Now, over the past decade, Scaledium tortuosum plant has attracted increasing attention for applications in promoting a sense of well-being and relieving stress in healthy individuals. One of the major components that we see is the alkaloids and its interaction with certain receptors in the brain. To have a sustained neurotransmitter activity, we need for both from serotonin and from GABA. So Scaledium root helps us with GABA and serotonin as well. This amazing capsule also has within it GABA, the gamma aminobutyric acid. This neurotransmitter is made by the brain, but we can also consume it. helps us with those feelings of anxiousness and overactivity of our neurological system, to have that GABA within this amazing capsule. Ahi flour is an amazing source for omega-3 fatty acids. It supports a number of healthy brain functions. We've seen numerous studies in which the omega-3 fatty acids help promote positive mood and emotional balance, and they are required for maintenance of optimal brain health. And so it's wonderful to have this ahi flour in there as a wonderful plant source of omega-3s and omega-6s. Also within this capsule, you have certain essential oils. Now, not all the essential oils that are in the adaptive blend are in the adaptive capsule. So lavender, coriander, wild orange, and fennel are within this. So with our lavender and coriander, we get a dose of linalool. Within our wild orange, we get a dose of D-limonene. And within our fennel, we get a dose of alpha-pinene. Linalool, as we know, is effective for calmness and relaxation. D-limonene also has calming properties. And then alpha-pinene, when combined with linalool, promotes neurotransmitters such as GABA. So when dealing with feelings of anxiousness, when dealing with new situations, when dealing with uncomfortable emotional health, I would recommend reaching for these two. The supplement of adaptive is affecting neurological outcomes and biochemical outcomes. When we use the blend of the adaptive blend, it is a wonderful calming aroma that helps create a relaxing atmosphere. The supplement is long acting. The essential oils are fast acting. So it's the perfect combination of those two things together to use those two when we're dealing with challenges of anxiousness. So again, the adaptive calming blend creates a calming atmosphere, complements effective work and study, soothes and uplifts, and offers a calming and relaxing atmosphere and aroma. It is fantastic. I just want to leave you with this quote from Helen Keller. She was an amazing woman, and she really went far beyond what anyone thought that she could do. And she said this: smell is a potent wizard to transport you across thousands of miles and all the years you have lived. Odors, instantaneous and fleeting, cause my heart to dilate joyously or contract with remembered grief. And I think we've all experienced this. When we come across a certain odor, certain memories come back to us very quickly because that odor is tied to strong emotions that we all have. We can do the same with adaptive. Adaptive can be extremely helpful for us in calming down. Now, with that, I want to turn the time over to Myra again. Myra, so grateful to have you. I need to be down in Mexico with you. My mother is from Mexico. She's from Chihuahua, and so I
Oh my
grew up
goodness.
down in Mexico in the colonies down there. And it would be wonderful to be down there with you. So
I would
grateful to
love
have you
that.
with us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Riggs. I love learning from you. I'm just sitting here with like notes and notes and notes of every word that you say. And that actually leads me to what I want to share right now because I'm a total learner. So listening to Dr. Riggs and all the fantastic people that have been presenting today reminded me of another mistake. I shared with you guys earlier that I've made pretty much every mistake I think that I could make in sharing essential oils. And one of the mistakes was that I would take down all this information and then I thought that I had to somehow convince people by just throwing all of this information at them. And that is just the opposite of what we're trying to do this year. I think that doTERRA as a whole, right, Dr. Riggs, we're just trying to really simplify it. And so
Myra, I will
really,
tell you, I manage the medical education committee around the world. Not a single very intelligent, very educated person came to doTERRA on that committee from reading research or understanding the research. Every one of them came because someone put an oil on them and they experienced the power of the oil, something every one of us can do.
I absolutely love that. And I'm just going to share just to really drive this point home. I remember the first time I heard you speaking, I think it was actually at a convention in Mexico. And my dad's a doctor. So every word that comes out of your mouth, I'm like, oh, what are the doctors saying? And you said that your wife, that you had a condition with your heart. And you shared how your wife gave you a Langoline. And that made all the difference. And after you had that experience, that's when you were willing to go and do the research. And so yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. The experience is what brings people in. Sometimes they need science afterwards, and you can point them to that science. You don't need to remember it all, but get them to have the experience and then point them in the right direction, for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Riggs. And so for all of you that are like, oh, we don't have the recording and we need the scripts and all these things, just remember that. Like the big lesson today is we're keeping it super simple. It's the VMZ, the vitamins, it's the omegas, the probiotics, and then the two products, just the two products that we're talking about, each targeted solution. And you're going to have that because you're getting the presentation. And so the targeted solution products for the section on stress are the supplement, the adaptive supplement, and the essential oil. And what I'm going to do here super quickly, so I don't keep you from lunch, is go over just examples of the different age groups and why they might need this. So going back to ages 20 to 30, what are they going through? They're going through exams to get into college or to get into grad school. They're going into final exams. They're going into stress about being on social media. It is so stressful. Like you have to look perfect all the time. I'm so glad I wasn't in this age group, right? That I was before social media, but it can be very stressful when people are maybe bullying you or you don't feel like you're good enough because you're comparing yourself to other people. And so these are circumstances under which you can share the adaptive supplement and the essential oil when people are super stressed out about their situation socially. In ages 30 to 45, people start calming down a little. They're not as concerned about what's going on socially, and they're more focused on what's going on in their own home. They feel like they aren't enough. You know, it's this constant fear of, I need to do all these things for my family and I'm just exhausted. I'm not enough. And as we know, if you're stressed out, then you're not going to sleep well. And so this secret to sharing this is really letting your friends vent everything that's happening, everything that's so hard, and saying, you know what? I've just had such a wonderful experience with the supplement and the oil. Could I share a little bit of oil with you? And oh, you have a big presentation coming up, or you've got a big game that you're nervous about because your kid's going to be in a baseball game and he's starring. Do you want to take an adaptive capsule? And this is just such a powerful. Every time I speak, I like taking an adaptive capsule because it really does help calm the nerves. Now, in the next age group, 45 to 55, we talked about earlier how this emotions can kind of go wild when you're stressed. And especially in this age group, I have felt less patient. I have felt more easily angered. And I think that that's just so common because of what's going on with our hormones. And so someone was mentioning earlier about, oh, well, phytoestrogen has been so great for me for perimenopause and menopause. And I agree 100%. Phytoestrogen is wonderful, but keeping it again super simple, I would start with VMG Omega probiotic and then recommending this to friends. And then just like you would give them additional information later once they've had a good experience, then I would bring in the phytoestrogen. I wouldn't start adding all of these other like 10 lists of oils because I think that's just going to overwhelm them. And so here I want to share a little bit about my husband because we don't have a man slide. My husband loves that I do doTERRA. He's been supportive of this for 11 years, but he's not one to sit there and make roller blends and remember to take oils. I pretty much have to like bring them to him in a plate if I want him to take his supplements and with a smile and with a glass of water. But the one thing that he does on his own that I never have to bring to him or remind him to take is his adaptive roller. He is running a startup. It's incredibly stressful. And he carries this with him in his travel bag because he knows that this helps him calm down. So my suggestion for you ladies that are married, that are worried about, like my husband's dad died of a heart attack at age 40. So from the moment I met him that I knew that he was my partner in life, like my concern was, is he going to end up having the same thing that happened as dad happened to him? And so for me, it's just been such a blessing that he knows how to take care of himself when he's traveling, when I'm not sitting there trying to give him his supplements. And so with that, I want to invite you. Same with okay, I didn't say the age 55 and up, but this is super fast. What are they worried about? What are the people that are 55 and up, and especially 65 and up, what are they worried about? They're scared about their health, right? They're scared about financial stability. They're scared about, am I going to have to be taken care of by my children? How's everything going to work out? So also with them, we can love on them by sharing the supplements and sharing the oils. But finally, getting you out to lunch on time, I invite you to write down 3 or 5 people that you want to help to manage their stress with these 2 amazing supplements. And with that, I'll hand it over to Eric. Thanks, Eric.
Myra, great job. Thank you very much. And thank all of you for sticking with us. As we wrap it up for the morning session, we've got 3 winners for the energy testimonials: Yanish Taghi, Diana Teal, and Leah Burke. I've been posting also the places to post your stress testimonials. And as we wrap it up for lunch, thank you for being with us today. And then I'm going to turn it over to Christina and Marie Kim at 1:30. So be back here at 1:30 for the rest, and we'll just play you out with the testimonials. So thanks again, guys, for everything, and keep up the good work with what you're doing.
Hey y'all, my name is Diana, and when I first started using VMG, I had to actually text my upline and say, is there caffeine in this? Because I don't drink caffeine. I had that much energy. And she's like, no, there's no caffeine. I'm like, wow. So I felt it. I felt the supplements working in my body, and it was fantastic. And so now I don't skip a day without my VMG Plus.
Hey, I just wanted to share my energy testimony. I just wanted you to know I'm almost 50 years old and I've been using doTERRA for a long time. I also have a day job that allows me to clock in at 4:30 in the morning. So I absolutely rely on my doTERRA products. Using the foundational wellness along with the collagen and then of course the Milo 2 Max, I can go for hours. I often need a 10-minute power nap after work, but then I'm usually not going to bed until 10 o'clock. And yes, I do sleep like a baby. And yes, I do use Serenity once in a while. But having the Mito 2 Max and the foundational bundle has been a game changer. It keeps me going. I work out, I support my family, I serve in my community, and my energy is never stops.
Hi guys, I'm Tanishq and I'm from India. I use MetaPower Recharge and MetaPower soft gels a lot, as they have not been yet launched in India, but I got my hands on them in the leadership retreat, which was in March, and I've been using them for quite a long now, and they have been a very useful tool for me in my gym sessions and whenever I go out for a run or to go out to play sports like cricket. So yeah, it is very helpful for me.